What's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Grace, and today I figured we could go back into time and check out my best of 2022 products and see if I used any of them this year in 2023 and how I feel about them now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure you subscribe, girl, because I'll be doing a whole bunch of eyeshadow content and a whole bunch of dupe content and a whole bunch of complexion content like we're about to talk about now. So today we're going to get into the foundations, concealers, powders, blushes, bronzers, and highlighters of 2022 and what I used now in 2023 and how I feel about it now. So let's start off with this one. So this is the Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I have the shade Tan 3. I still love this thing. I still use this thing a lot. I think I used this thing a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, I have a nice little dent in mine if you can't tell. So that shows how I feel about it right there. I still love it because I'm going to have to buy a new one like next year during like one of the holiday sales from Sephora, because I love this stuff. I don't use it that often, especially in the summertime, because it's a cream foundation and you know, like it's gonna make my skin more oily than it already is. So I prefer not to use it then, but when the fall and winter comes, this is one I definitely reach for, and I still love it, so I plan on using it some more. When I initially tried it, I had the wrong shade, so it didn't look that great on me, but I liked the formula then, and I still like the formula now. So once I found my right shade, thanks to one of you all who told me I should get Tan 3 as opposed to Deep 1, it worked out perfectly. Let's see. I don't have too many foundations I used from last year to this year. I'll talk about another one that was a little that I didn't like when I first tried it because it gives a red undertone, but I found a way to make it work. So I feel like if you're not new here, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Dior Forever Transfer Proof 24-Hour Foundation High Perfection Concentrated Floral Skincare with Sunscreen Broad SPF 15. So I wear the shade 6N in all Dior foundations, but 6N Backstage looks better to me than 6N from the Dior original line. With this one, I find I have to put a yellow pigment in. Thank goodness Elf has an affordable yellow pigment to put in there. That's what I usually put in with this, and this is a really nice matte foundation. I just don't like how red it looks without the pigment, and the fact that you have to spend $50-something and then put it in there. But I like it well enough in the summertime to go ahead and use it, because it's like, you know, I really need that matte going on for me, and it definitely does a good job with that. So that I used last year, and I used this year as well. The crazy thing is, out of all the categories, like foundation was the one I went back and reused the most stuff on, which I found interesting. But I'm just like, oh, okay. So next we have the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I have the shade, what does this say, 470 Medium Deep Cool. Their foundations are kind of like the ABH foundation, where it's like if you wear if you have like a golden undertone, you actually have to buy the cool tone one as opposed to the warm tone, which was supposed to be a red undertone or whatever. So like I use this on and off quite a bit. I think mine is like about right here. So I've used a decent amount of the product. I used it last year when I first got it and really liked it, and I revisited it when the concealer came out this year, and I've been liking it still. So I figured, since I bought it last year, used it last year, and I used it this year, I put it in the video again. I don't reach for this as much as I do other things, but I still did reach for it again and still am enjoying it, so I figured I would include it. Next, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I wear the shade 14 Neutral in this one. I always find it best to get neutrals in her foundations, because I definitely feel like her foundations pull red a lot of the time too if you try to get the warm tone. So I just buy neutral to be safe, and then, you know, I don't have to worry about the undertone being wrong and pulling wrong and looking crazy on me. Now, I do like to mix this with the original foundation. This isn't one I just use on its own, because I don't feel like it gives enough coverage on its own. And the original one is kind of thick, so that's what I kind of don't like about it. So both of those are match made in heaven. So this one is one I use with another one, but still, as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it, because get into that thin portion or whatever. So I would say I've used like a good fourth of this product most likely between last year and this year. I think it's just a great Your Skin But Better foundation, and mixed with the original thick one, you get that full coverage feel that you want, but you still get that skin-like finish because of the mixture of this in there with it. So I really like using that as a mixer, not necessarily on its own, but it's nice as a mixer. Okay, we're gonna get to the last foundation I have to talk about. So the last foundation I have to talk about is the Makeup Forever HD Skin, what is this one called? Undetectable Stay True Foundation. That's what it says on the bottom. I have the shade FY60, which used to be Y503. Now I found that this foundation oxidized because I usually wear the shade Y505, but because it oxidized I had to get Y503. So that's what I was working with. That is what I am working with. I really like this foundation, and I don't like makeup foundations, like besides the matte line, the HD skin line, I have never really liked. So this was the first HD skin foundation from them I actually truly liked and wear a lot. This just looks so gorgeous on skin. This gives you that great coverage, but still that your skin but better, but it still gives the type of medium to full coverage that I personally like. A lot of times with these your skin but better foundations, I find that they don't give the type of coverage I like. So the fact that they got such a thin and nice formula and still gives me that your skin but better but full coverage type feel I feel like they did a great job with this, and it's definitely one I recommend anyone to get if you like that your skin but better, but you have skin issues like me, like you have dark spots or you have hyperpigmentation. I feel like this is a great one for you because I have a lot of acne scars from popping my acne bumps, so it covers those up very nicely, and I don't have to like spot concealer or do anything extra with it. So loving that for me. Let's get into these concealers now. So I have the Dominique Cosmetics Stay Awake concealer in the shade Honey Roast. This is the one that she came out with that had the doe foot applicator. That was like a metal doe foot applicator, kind of like, you know, Huda Beauty did when she came out with the concealer in the tube that had the metal applicator for the skincare, like they have in those skincare eye things. She just made a doe foot version of it. I really like this concealer for underneath the eyes. When you try to have to conceal the rest of the face, that's when I get annoyed with the metal applicator, because it's like I feel like it doesn't pick up as much product either. That's another issue I have with this. But it's a beautiful concealer, and I love using the metal tip for underneath the eyes. So I usually just pick up another concealer I have to like highlight my face with, because I get irritated trying to highlight my face with this. But otherwise, it's a great product. I used it last year, I used it this year. I'm just trying to like use it up. I'm not gonna say I would never buy it again, but considering how many concealers I have, I'm not going to rush up to buy this again, but I will buy it again eventually because it is a great product. And I love Kirsten's brand and the fact that she's branching out into more complexion and other things, just opposed to always giving us the eyeshadow palettes, which I won't complain if she can bring some more eyeshadow palettes out and I'll be fine with it. But you know, I'm liking that she's branching into different things as well. So next I have the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. I have the shade Crumble 7.1 Neutral, and this is supposed to be Faux Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. I love this stuff so much, y'all. It looks like I'm almost done with it. From looking at the container, it looks like I'm about like right here from what I'm seeing in the container itself, which I'm kind of impressed with, because it's like I don't usually use up concealers. I rarely use up concealers, so the fact that this one I have used up, or I'm close to using up, is a big deal. It has a unique kind of applicator to it, if you will. So this is what it looks like. I feel like it is awfully big, but it gives you a lot of product, and you know, it helps you be able to place a whole line underneath the eye and not have to go back. I hate concealers I have to constantly dip back into because it's so small and the wand doesn't pick up that much product. So this is one you don't have to worry about. You can swipe underneath each eye and probably like the whole face to brighten the areas that you want to brighten and not have to dip back in. So that's really another thing I love about this. And the luminous matte thing, I'm always confused. To me, that just means it's like a satin matte, and you just came up with a different word for it, because I'm like, I don't really see anything luminous about this, but I do feel like it gives like a satin matte finish, if you will. But you know, she can call it luminous if she wants. I don't care. It's a great product. It works for me. I've been using it along with the foundation stick on and off this year, so that shows my love of it right there. Believe it or not, I have the Good Apple concealer from KVD Beauty. What is this? Lightweight full coverage Good Apple concealer. I have the shade Tan 162. If y'all remember when I first bought this, when it first came out, before it was supposed to, I ended up with a shade that was closer to my skin tone. I wasn't really that big a fan because the shade was too close to my skin tone. I've learned to work with this formula though. I felt like at first it was a little bit too thick, but it was just I was just putting too much on. It has a unique doe foot applicator as well, so let me go ahead and show y'all that. Like, see, it looks like it looks like the little wands that you use to scrub your pans with in the kitchen. If you know what I'm talking about, the one where it's plastic and you can squeeze the soap in it and then you brush it in. Like, that's what the brush of this doe foot looks like to me. I don't know why it makes me think of that. I guess because that's how it looks to me, but like, I definitely think it's unique. My whole thing is it still picks up a decent amount of product though. And again, I just told y'all my concern is it not want to pick up a whole bunch of product and not wanting to, you know, you haven't dipped back in a few times. I don't feel like you have to dip back in a few times for this one. You might have to dip back in one more time after you do both on your under eyes. Just go down the middle of the face depending on how much concealer you use. But it's a good concealer overall. Some people said they felt like it was a little bit cakey. Maybe you just put a little bit too much on. I'm not exactly sure, but I like it now that I found a way for it to work for me. But when I initially tried it, it was more like the color was off and I couldn't get past that, as opposed to it necessarily being the formula of the product. Now let's get into a bougie, expensive one, honey. So we got the Tom Ford, what is this, Shade and Illuminate Concealer. I have the shade 5W0 Tan, so it's 5 Warm Olive Tan. Y'all, I love this concealer. I'm so mad I love this concealer too, because this is like 90 bucks and I don't live next to a company cosmetics store to where I could like go and pick this up at a reasonable price. So it's like I was in Las Vegas and I had went to some mall, I don't remember which mall it was, and I ended up picking this up because I had seen it in store and I had been wanting to try it forever, because Morgan Turner had been raving about it forever, which funny enough, she says she doesn't like it anymore. I still love it, so I'm glad she talked about it just so I would find out about it, because y'all know I don't really keep up with Tom Ford because he be doing too much, he be too high, and I feel like his stuff don't be like out of this world exceptionally great for it to be as high as it is, but you know, alas, whatever. This is one that I actually felt like was worth it. This and the Tom Ford Traceless Matte, Soft Matte Foundation, the liquid one. I don't like his foundation stick, but I do like the liquid one. I would recommend both of those in a heartbeat. They are amazing. And that is why I still use that product. Aside from the fact it's $90, I'm going to get every use out of it that I can. Like, I'm going to be scraping out of that thing because it's $90 and that's outrageous. Okay. So the next one I have is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I have the shade 11.75 Tan. Now I know this looks really like light and bright, but it actually blends out and works out pretty nicely for my skin tone. Not to mention sometimes when I feel like it's a little too bright, depending on what time of year it is. Like for me, now that it's fall and winter, I feel like it's fine. But in the summertime, this would be one that, you know, you see girls put a lighter shade right here in the inner corner to brighten up, and then you use one that's a little bit deeper toward the back. This would definitely be used for that for me when it comes to summertime, because in summertime, I don't see myself being able to get away with that. Like it is not working at all. But right now it works just fine, and I love this concealer. Like, I know a lot of people said it was a little too thick and creamy. I feel like it's just as creamy as the Natasha Denona one. I don't feel like it's any creamier than that. So if you like the Natasha Denona concealer, she just came out with the High Glam, that I feel like you'd be fine with that concealer as well. And I think they're both close to the same price point. Random side note. But the last one I have to talk about when it comes to concealers is the Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer from Sephora. I have the shade 44Y. I loved this concealer when I first tried it. Now, the foundation I wasn't crazy about when I first tried, but that's because I had the wrong shade. Now, with this concealer, honey, it's giving I'm living, I'm here for it. Yes. It's a whole vibe. It has a traditional doe foot applicator. As you can see, it's just like, it's basically like the Tarte Shape Tape doe foot applicator. Like, you know, that huge one with the huge top on it. It gives a good amount of concealer out. It's a great concealer. It's a great tone. Like, y'all know I like a certain amount of yellow when it comes to my concealer, and I feel like this is like that perfect shade that I love and talk about, and it's affordable, so that's why I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. Aside from the fact it did come out last year, and I used it a lot last year, and then I used it a lot again this year, so I felt like, you know, I'd include it as well. But I got a new shade of the Best Skin Ever foundation from Sephora this year during one of the Sephora sales for 30% off. So that's how I ended up using it some more, because I ended up using that some more. So spoiler alert, that's going to be in the best of 2023 video, because I tried it out in 2023 again and had the right shade, and I liked it enough to put it in there. Sorry, y'all, brushes is rolling underneath my butt. I'm trying to move stuff around and adjust, and now the sun's coming in at the weird angle that I hate when I'm trying to film, and it's just horrible. It's just a whole thing. Anyway, moving on. So let's get into some powders now. So I guess I'll start off with the under eye ones, and then I'll work my way to the foundation one. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Eye and Face Micro Powder in the shade Tan Deep. That was a mouthful, wasn't it, y'all? Ooh. She be always having Pat McGrath and Natasha. They be having the longest names, and I be like, why? So as you can see, I clearly love this. I don't know if you can see the dip in it, but there is definitely a dip in it because of the angle the sun's coming in. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I definitely have a dip in this. I really love putting this underneath the eye and setting my face with the brightness. The only thing is I feel like there's a little bit of glitter that comes off when you put this underneath your eyes, and that's a whole thing I'm not necessarily crazy about. But, you know, like, I feel like it's not like visibly noticeable, and it's not like, you know, like trophy wife type glittery, if you will. It's just more like a subtle little bit of glitter, I guess, to give you more brightness underneath the eye directly. But don't be turned off by that, because it's not like a super extremely glittery highlighter that you can't stand type high glitter. It's more like micro finish type glitter. It's like you can see it in the pan, you can see a little bit when you dust it on, but it's nothing that's gonna be very bright and glittery and make you look greasy, for lack of a better term. So next I have the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent Honey. This one is so perfect underneath the eye. I had to make myself stop using this and start using other stuff, because I've literally just reached for this every day and then use the Milk Makeup what is the Polar Eclipse powder and then call it a day. Now I got Laura Mercier powder on my leg, y'all, but it's okay. I didn't wear pants I cared about on purpose. So this powder is amazing. This is probably my favorite Laura Mercier powder out of all the colors that she has. The translucent one I tried, I wasn't that crazy about. The one for my skin tone, I don't know. I don't feel like it just does a whole lot. It's something about this color in particular, I feel like just makes the under eye look smooth and wonderful and perfect. Whereas the one for my face tone, I don't really care about that much. And then the translucent one, I'm not really big on translucent powder, so I didn't care. So with this, I feel like this will be in another video, another time, talking about how I love it still. So just, yeah. Just wait to see. But next we have the Sigma Soft Focus Setting Powder in the shade Honey. If you all remember, I compared this to the Say powder last year. I still reach for this more than the Say powder. The Say powder is kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury I was just talking about, where it has like a little bit of like glitter and shimmer going on with it. Again, it's not really noticeable, but it's like you can see it in the pan and you see it when you put it on, but it's not like when somebody looks at you, it looks like you just put glitter underneath your eye. Like, it doesn't do anything like that. So here's what the color looks like. As you can see, it's more of that beige powder. I told y'all every once in a while I like to use the beige powder, so I try to keep some around. I love this Sigma powder. I think it is absolutely stunning and amazing. And you can definitely pick this up on their website. You can use my code. I have a code. It's GELBEAUTY. It's not GELBEAUTY 87. It's just GELBEAUTY, and you can get a discount on it. I also have a code for Charlotte Tilbury. I probably should have mentioned that too. So I have a code for Charlotte Tilbury. It should be in the description box down below. You get 15% off your first order, and then I just have an affiliate link down there if you'd like to use it to purchase. But the last thing I have to talk about when it comes to powders, this is foundation powder from One Size Beauty. This is Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder in the shade Dark 4G. So I found out about this powder last year from, of course, the girl Stephanie or Babs Beauty here on YouTube. She was talking about how much she liked this foundation powder, how great it was. So I was like, okay, let me try it out. You know, Stephanie's saying it's good. I know I can trust Stephanie's recommendation. So during one of the Sephora sales last year, I bought this. Ended up trying it out. Ended up really liking it. Ended up using it again this year. This is a great powder. Like, it, however, like, I feel like it's really similar to another affordable powder that's already in my collection. I think I gave y'all a video comparing them, all underrated versus overrated. I don't remember which one it is right this second, because y'all have to think how much stuff I have. So I'd have to really mentally think about it. And since I already made a video about it, I'm like, you can just go watch that. But yeah, it's still a great powder. It's just I found an alternative to it, but I'm still going to use it and will use it up. And during the Sephora sales, if I run out, I will get another one. It's just I don't use foundation powder that often. I usually try to use my translucent powders, or my setting powders I should say, as opposed to a foundation powder. The only time I use a foundation powder is if it's like a BB cream or a CC cream that I want to use and I know I need that extra coverage. That's when I reach for powders like this, which is rare because y'all know I own a million full coverage foundations, because that's just my preference. Okay, let's get into these blushes, bronzers, and highlighters, and then we should be done. Crazy thing is I just realized I don't really have any highlighters. I have bronzers, I have blushes, but I don't see any highlighters here. So I didn't use any of the highlighters that I talked about last year this year. That's crazy. Huh. Anyway, let's get into it. So I'll start with the cream bronzers. So wait, no, this is not for this video. This is for another video. Let me put that down there. Sorry. So I only have one cream bronzer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer. I have the shade 4 Deep. Of course, you know, she only does like, I think it's fair, or she does fair, light, then I think it's like medium tan, or medium tan and deep. So This is what she looks like. As you can see, it has a little dip in it. I don't reach for it that often because I usually have stick ones that I can just rub on my face real quick and go. This would be for when I'm like, you know, have time to like use a product like this. Majority of the time the sticks are just easy for me when I'm getting ready for work, but I did manage to use this a lot in the summertime. That's when I mainly pulled this out and used it because I don't know, to me this just screams summer to me. I guess because it's called Sun Kissed Glow, and I think when I think of stuff like that I think of summertime. So I use this mainly in the summertime, and then like in the fall and winter I usually use like my sticks or whatever. But this is a nice little cute product. I think it does a great job. You get a lot of bang for your buck in here. That's what I mainly like about this, how huge it is for like the price point that it comes with, because y'all know Charlotte, she be high, but at least she gave you a lot of cream bronzer in there. The Westman Atelier one, that little stick she gave you for like 70 whatever dollars, it was not it. And then a little powder, ooh honey, don't get me started on that. But anyway, on to the next bronzer. So I found this Melt Cosmetics Ultra Matte Powder Bronzer last year. I had the shade Long Beach, and it I ended up buying it when I bought something else from them, and I was very impressed with this bronzer. And the crazy thing is, I normally would have went out and bought it ahead of time, but I was just like, it's not gonna be all that. It's not the big deal. It's a bronzer, and this is like one of my favorite bronzers in my collection. The only thing is, it's red tone, so I'm kind of sad about that because it's like I can only wear it in the summertime. I've actually been wearing it in the fall as well, though, just because I really like the formula of it to the point where I still wear it in the fall. Which I know is shocking because there's very few red bronzers that I'll wear like in the fall and the winter time, because to me red bronzer is just like a summertime thing. But you know, I liked it that much that I kept using it during the fall, so that tells you how great this product is to me. And I'm already starting to hit like pan on. I don't know if y'all can see the circle of the pan going on in here, but it's definitely coming because I have been using it quite a bit. So next bronzer I have is the House Labs Powder Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. I have the shade Deep Level 10. What is this on top of my bronzer? Anyway, this is what it looks like, and you can see I have clearly used this because the H has almost completely disappeared from this bronzer. I think it's really nice. It's one of those more yellow tone bronzers, you know, like Mocha Mommy from, Coco Naughty from Fenty. That more yellow undertone bronzer that I prefer for other times of the year, and then like the red bronzer in the summertime. The funny thing is, when I first started, when I first tried that bronzer from Fenty, I didn't like the fact that it had the yellow undertone to it, but it's like I can appreciate it now because it's like I don't always want to look red tone, so I appreciate the yellow undertone to the bronzer, and I actually have added more to my collection, like this one and some other ones. But I love this. I love the formula of this. I think this looks great on the skin. I will say the price point of this to me is a little bit high considering the Fenty one. I feel like it's a little bit more affordable. Now if you do it by like, what is it, by the ounces or the grams or whatever, then it might not be as affordable, the Fenty one, because I heard some people saying like with the grams and the ounces or whatever, she'll try to sneak it in and make it seem like it's affordable. It's really not, because you don't get as much product. I don't know. I don't measure my makeup by that, so you know, that's just me. But I do really feel like this is a great bronzer, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. It's made in Italy, so you know, trying to be all bougie and whatnot. The last one I have to wait, no, let me get to the second to last. So second last one is the bronzer in the shade Burnished Honey. If you all remember, I told you once I got this face palette and it had Burnished Honey in it, I was gonna sell my big one. So my big one I just need to list on Macari. I've already taken it out of my collection and put it in the box of stuff that I need to like put up for sale. That's sitting on my table in my living room that I just need to take pictures of. But I love this bronzer. This one is the more like reddish tone one, so the one behind this one is a more neutral undertone one. I've been using this one just because I was trying out this face palette, so as you can see it's a little messy because I use this, this, and this, and then I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna use my face for the day. But this is more red tone, so I usually use the deeper tone one, but I just brought this as a representation to show that I have been using my bronzers from Mother. They are stunning, they are lovely, they are wonderful, and I'm glad to have them in my collection. But I'm trying to remember, did this come out this year or did it come out last year? The bronzers I made, because I feel like it might have came out last year and it's not supposed to be in this video. But let me see. The last bronzer I have to talk about is the L'Oreal Infallible Soft Matte Bronzer. I have the shade Dark 500. I think they have one shade after this one called Deep. Don't quote me, but I tried this out last year, and as you can see, it has a little dip in it. So needless to say, you can see I've been using it. I really like this bronzer. I think it's nice to have a actual good bronzer at the drugstore that's reasonably priced, that actually works for everybody's skin tone, because I feel like they have bronzers at the drugstore, but they don't go deep enough for anyone my skin tone, so I like the L'Oreal came out with one. However, this bronzer costs $16, so I'm like, is this really affordable, if you will? Because it's like, if I buy enough stuff from ColourPop and throw their $10 bronzer in, is this really a steal for me? Now, I will admit it has very good quality on it for it being a drugstore product, but it's like, to me, $16 isn't really drugstore price, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm like, it is a great product, and I did use it last year and use it this year, but it's like, I said that when it first came out, and I still feel that way. Like, $16 at a drugstore? Like, what? Excuse me, what? What? Show, please. Next, I have the Gucci blush in the shade Warm Berry. I tried these last year. I bought some new ones this year, and then I still used the shade Warm Berry, and I like the shade Intense Plum. Those are the two I use the most, but I mean, like, those are the ones that match my skin tone the best. Y'all know they got one called what is soft, I think, Indian soft coral or something, or soft red, but it's like orange. I don't know. Like, when I see it, I'll know, but like, I didn't bring that when I brought this one because this is one of the ones that came out in 2022 that I showed, and I'm still using it and loving it. Like, when fall comes, as you can see, Gucci is completely gone off there. That's how much I love it. Like, the Gucci is no longer there. So that shows my dedication and love to it. So we have the Juvia's Place blushed palettes as well. I have the shade 5 here. The one I was using last year was the pink one, you know, the popular one that duped the Dior one, but this one dupes another Dior shade. In my personal opinion, it's really close to it, like this shade right here. It looks really similar to another like Dior shade. It's a little bit more strawberry pink, and I mean strawberry red, and the Dior one is called cherry red, so it's more on the cherry red side, but it's a good alternative if you would like to try a similar tone to it. But I've been using this one quite a lot this year as opposed to the pink one, because I just love the tone of this, but it's still, you know, a Juvia's Place blush formula, so I figured I could go ahead and include it, because that means I've still been using their blushes and their blush formula, because I love their blush formula. So the last product I have to talk about that I've been using was Patrick Ta's. Of course, y'all know I love Patrick Ta's blushes, so this is the new blush palette, but I have been using his blush, he came out with some new shades this year, and I've been using those, and I've been using some older shades as well. So I still use the first blush palette he came out with that everybody was so in love with, but at the same time complained about the pigmentation. But then when he came out with a lighter pigmented one, y'all didn't want to buy it and wasn't nowhere to be found. And the man had to put it on clearance and give away with free orders and everything else, because y'all didn't want to buy it after you complained about him making a pigmented one that works for everybody. So anyway, this is what it looks like. Well, this is what the new one looks like, so I guess you should just ignore this part right here. As you can see, he's still on the pink train, because everybody's still on the pink train, I personally believe, but I just love blushes from Patrick Ta. I feel like he does a great job. Now, those older ones, I heard they've been getting like weird spots in them and like mold and everything, so they took them off the market and discontinued them. But lately I've been hearing a whole bunch of his stuff has mold in it, so I'm like, I don't know what's going on with that and how that's working out, but those are all the things that I tried in 2022 that I love, that I brought over into 2023 with me. So comment down below and tell me, did you try these things like I did last year and you're still living for them and loving them as well? Because I'm curious to know. Y'all know I be being nosy. I'm like, I'll be telling y'all about all my stuff, but I don't be hearing about your stuff. Do you like this stuff? Do you have this stuff? What's going on with your stuff? Instead of always asking about my stuff, what's going on with your stuff? But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.